What's up guys? Welcome back to another video and Happy New Year, the first video of 2023, and boy do we have a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Man, where do we even begin? I want to start off by saying thank you to all of you guys. 2022 was insane. It's my first year on YouTube making videos and doing all this stuff, and I have to say the support was unreal. The growth has been incredible and I've learned so much. I cannot wait to bring what I've learned in 2023. I definitely have a lot of exciting stuff planned. It's crazy to think how far I've come in just a year. I'm gonna do a little recap. So if you're new to the channel, here's some of the stuff you missed. For those of you that didn't know, I actually bought this seat as a shell. It came with the motor and trans, but they were not in the car. They were separate and the condition was unknown. So in the beginning of the year, I got the motor and trans in. Here's a little clip of that. And then shortly after that, I got the first start in this thing, and boy was that a rewarding feeling. Like I said, when I got this thing, the condition of the motor was unknown. The guy I got it from promised me it ran, but we all know how that goes. I have to say I did get pretty lucky with that because this motor's still running strong a year later. After we got it running, tied up some loose ends, got the suspension together, I got this thing out of the garage for the first time and did some donuts in it. And again, what a rewarding feeling that was. It was so cool to see such a big project come to life and actually be able to do something, even if it was just some simple donuts. After that came my first drift event in this thing, which was my first drift event since 2014. 8 years of not drifting. It was so cool to be back out on track and to do it with some friends. That was one of my first times tandeming. It was definitely a day to remember.
I let this guy drive my car one time, and we're stuck. Crazy fool!
After that first drift event, I got this thing street legal and actually was able to drive it on the street, do some street drifting out in Mexico. Again, it was so cool to bring a project all together and to actually be able to drive it to work and enjoy it outside of just on the racetrack. After that, I did another drift event at Apple Valley. That one was a solo one, and it was one of the events I learned the most at, just because there was so few people there. I think there was like 10 or 12 people at that event, and it was just a full day of seat time. I learned so much about car control, car setup, how little changes can affect the way the car drives. That was definitely a fun day. During that solo event, it was my first time driving this thing in the heat. It was like 104 degrees out and it kept overheating, so I cut some holes in the hood. And to this day, I still get people asking me what that hood is, where I got it, how I did it. Literally just cut some holes and put some universal vents in.
And just like that, the vents are in.
Then came another event that I learned a ton at, and that was again at Apple Valley with my buddy Damien, who came down from Utah. We drove tandem pretty much the entire day and actually ended up driving again the next day. That was such a crazy weekend. I had so much fun and learned so much. That was my first time really pushing myself to tandem close with someone. And again, that's definitely a day I will always remember. So much fun.
We haven't even started driving yet. What are you working on?
Oh, you know, just some,
After that, I drove this car down to Riverside to Adams Motorsports Park where I did a night drift event. That was a big test for this car and it really proved to me that this thing can do well on the streets and drive itself to and from drift events. Which was something I needed because the very next thing I did was drove to Utah, put a few thousand miles on this thing, and did the craziest weekend of driving ever.
We've made it out of California.
I took all the tandem experience I learned with Damien at Apple Valley Speedway, got to drive with him again out in Utah, and had the best tandems ever. That was the first time I ever tapped another car while drifting.
Let's go! Finally tandem with Damien and actually hit his car very, very softly. I don't think it did anything to either of our cars. I just kind of bumped him a little bit wider. That was so sick. That's my tire mark on his bumper. Let's go. This is his back tire on my bumper.
Frog tube. This helmet is attached to my camera.
Yeah, I've been to prison.
Looking back at some of that footage from Utah, I still can't believe how much fun I had on that trip. Between getting to drive with all my friends all weekend, getting to drive with Formula Drift driver Justin Pollock, that was definitely one of the highlights of the year. Funny enough, I remember talking to my buddy Josh who went with me and telling him about this crazy thing called Drift Week and how it was an absolute dream of mine to one day maybe get the chance to drive on Drift Week. And here we are in 2023, signed up and ready for Drift Week in just a month. After Utah came the event at Irwindale, which was a huge accomplishment for me. Not that the event itself was anything special, but the fact that I got to drive Irwindale Speedway, the legendary House of Drift, that was such a cool moment for me. I still remember walking out on that track, looking around, thinking, wow, this is reality. I'm really here and I really get to drive this. Then came what was probably the most dramatic transformation of this car, which was painting the hood at my buddy Evan's shop. Again, thank you to him. I learned a lot by painting this. I did know some stuff about painting, but it's been a long time and it was definitely a fun experience. After the hood was done, hooked up with Logan at Defined Wraps and got this thing wrapped, and I am still in awe that I own this thing, the fact that it looks this good. I've never had a drift car that looks this nice, and I'll be honest, I'm a little worried to mess it up. Really though, I'm so beyond grateful that I got the ability to work with Logan and that we got this car looking this good.
Massive props to Logan on this one. He knocked out the majority of the wrap in a day, by himself too. Super impressive. The wrap turned out amazing.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little recap of last year. It's definitely been a fun and eventful year. As far as plans going into 2023, I've got a few events coming up. The first one is going to be at Apple Valley Speedway again with Drift Life Media. They were actually the ones who hosted the very first event I did in this thing, so it's going to be cool to go back out with them. That will be on January 8th. That's this Sunday. If you're free, I encourage you to come out. I will be giving ride-alongs all day. I'll have some stickers I'll be handing out, and it's just going to be a really fun event. After that, I'm going back to Irwindale Speedway for another event. So excited for that one. That will be on January 22nd. Again, if you're free, I encourage you to come out. The events at Irwindale are always super fun. I believe it's called the Mega Meet, so it's going to be a really big car show open to any makes and models. On top of that, they'll have stunt bikes as well as the drifting demo, which I'll be taking a part in. One of the biggest things I have planned this year is, of course, Drift Week. If you've been subscribed to the channel for a little while, you know I've talked about that. Some more information for you guys though. On February 18th and 19th, I will be at Muscleman Circuit, that is in Arizona. And that will be one of the public days where you can come out, hang out with me as well as all the other Drift Week drivers, and we will be doing ride-alongs for most of the day. I hope to see you guys there. The other public day on Drift Week will be February 25th and 26th. That will be at Adams Motorsports Park in Riverside, California. Same thing, you can come out and meet all your favorite Drift Week drivers, get ride-alongs with any of us, and it's definitely going to be a good time. So I hope to see you guys at one of those two if you can make it. After Drift Week, one of the big goals I'd like to achieve is getting into competition drifting. Nothing super high level to begin with. There are quite a few entry-level competition drift events out here in Southern California, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting into that. But of course, that's going to mean tearing this thing apart, getting a full FD spec cage in it, as well as some other changes. So get excited for that content to come after Drift Week. As far as other things to expect on the channel this year, I'm definitely going to be doing some work on my daily driver, the Honda Fit. I'd like to do a few time attack events in that thing, nothing too serious. I've had some fun doing that in the past and I'd like to get into it again, just to improve as an overall driver, plus it's a whole lot of fun. In addition to that, I have a completely new build that I cannot wait to show you guys. It's definitely still a little ways out, mostly because all of my time, energy, and money is going into Drift Week right now. So somewhere in the next couple months, I will be revealing the new build, so definitely subscribe if you are not already, because that is going to be an exciting one, and I cannot wait to get started on that.
Again, I just want to give an absolute massive thank you to all of you guys. Whether you've supported me by jumping on as a sponsor, you've bought stickers, you've said what's up at the track, you've shared any of my content on any social media, you give it a thumbs up, you drop a comment, whatever it may be. I appreciate the support. I thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me. I hope you guys enjoyed that little recap, as well as me sharing some of the plans I have for this year. Definitely just kind of scratch the surface on what I want to do. Obviously, one of the biggest goals is just progressing as a driver, which just means going to a bunch of events. Like I'd mentioned, I do hope to see you guys at some of these, whether it is Apple Valley Speedway on the 8th, that's this Sunday, Irwindale on the 22nd, Muscleman Honda Circuit in Arizona on February 18th or 19th, as well as Adams Motorsports Park on the 25th or the 26th. Drop some comments down below. Let me know what are some of your goals for 2023. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll catch you in the next one.